Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video. Now what I'm going to do is something a bit different. Hopefully people are just happy to see this video and like you'll be cool with it. I stopped a while ago, a few years ago, from doing more personal things. I used to do things called Huzzy updates, and I stopped doing them, unfortunately. I was recommended to, but something big has happened. Obviously, the title of this video, a lot of you obviously knew I was going on holiday to Disney. And I just thought I'd do a little vlog talking about it, you know, a little bit more of a personal one. So yeah, if you appreciate this, throw a like on it, throw a comment. You know, if it's not your thing, I get it. You know, I upload just League content, 2 videos a day every day. So hopefully you're fine with just one video not being. And I've always said, you know, if you ever watch my New Year's videos, they're not the most popular thing in the world. I don't make them necessarily for you guys. I make them more for me. And that's what this video is, kind of. This video is more for me in 20 years' time to come back to and go, oh, yeah, it was then. So we went to Disneyland Paris, and honestly, it was an incredibly cool trip. I absolutely loved it, and I'm going to bring up photos in a second, by the way. I've got 30-something photos to show you guys. But obviously, the big thing happened, and I think we'll start with that. I proposed to Queen Pleb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink myself, and then I can start bringing photos on. And yeah, so just to give you an idea of, you know, what the vibe was, I proposed on her birthday. It was her 30th birthday, and I did it at night time. So this is, for example, what the castle looked like. You can see a lot of people are there because it was, I think there was a light show about to happen. We didn't stay for the light show. But this was the second day we were there, and you know, I'll explain all about the Disney stuff after. I'll just get the proposal stuff out of the way first. We had the whole day, went to dinner, really nice dinner. We ate at the steakhouse in, I want to say Frontierland, I think. So a really good restaurant, good food, enjoyed it. Really nice waitress as well. She made the experience like really lovely. And then basically on the way back from the park, we stayed at one of the hotels, like the actual Disney hotels. So we didn't stay at like the stupid one, the Disneyland hotel. We stayed at the lodge. We just liked the vibe of it, very naturey. They do it obviously really well. And to get there, it's about a 15-minute walk from the park. But the nice thing is that there's a massive lake, a man-made lake that you have to go around to get to our hotel. And I will say to the guys watching this that if you're going to propose in whenever, oh, again, there is some stress to it. And for me, you know, the first moment that we got like, kind of landed and we're like, right, we're at Disney, I was just like, right, where am I going to do it? You know, that's the thing, is like I've got to think of a place that I'm going to do it. Now, Queen Pleb is what you'd probably call an introvert. She doesn't like being the center of attention. She's quite a quiet person unless you know her. And she's very bubbly if you do, but overall, she doesn't like to be the center of attention. So, you know, I know a lot of people do it in front of the castle, but that's not her. So I needed to find somewhere that was a bit quieter. And that brought me on to, I took this picture, and I don't even think she knows I took this picture in a way. Did I transfer? I did. I didn't transfer every picture I've got. Basically, well, I'll show, this is the actual proposal picture that we took after. So there's that. So basically you can see the railing. I did it on the lake. That I noticed when you're walking around the lake, every now and then there was a few steps down because the path around the lake is actually quite high up. But every now and then there was a few steps down and there were several benches kind of off the path, so people couldn't really see. It was a lot quieter, and that's where I did it. So, you know, clearly she said yes. And what I like about this photo, to be honest, for me, you know, I don't know if we'll ever get this framed or anything. I don't know. I don't know if people do that, but you can obviously see like the Disney thing in the background out of focus. So like if you don't look at the photo in massive detail, you won't probably notice the Mickey Mouse. But for me, it always kind of gives me that, that's where we did it. And what I really like, and it's a bit cheesy, because it's Disneyland Paris, or Disneyland in general, obviously these benches, they're done on purpose. They're done with very set, like, oh, we're having benches here because people will need to rest. So So the likelihood of that bench still being there in 5 or 10 or 20 years is incredibly likely. So when me and Queen Pleb go, let's say again in 5 years, or we go in 15 years with our own kids eventually, that bench is probably still, or a bench will probably still be in that location, and I'll always be able to go, that's where I proposed. I liked that. You know, it's a bit cheesy, but I really liked it. So overall a success. She liked the ring, which is good. It was, to be honest, hard to muck that up because I had incredible anxiety about, like, I need her to like it, because if she's going to have this on for life, she needs to like it. Otherwise, like, you know, I'm sure she'd always like it because it's coming from me and all that stuff, but I needed her to fundamentally like it. So she gave me a rough PDF of little things that she'd like, and I kind of nailed all of the points. So that's kind of what I went for, and that's what I'd say to you guys if ever you're proposing and you're a bit nervous about them liking the actual ring. Just, as again, if you're in the right relationship, they probably know it's eventually coming anyway. Just ask, you know. When I asked Queen Pleb for a rough kind of guide of what would you like, it was 6 months before I proposed. So it gives you a rough time scale. So, you know, it's good. So other pictures. So that was, I'll just say, that was the main proposal. It was really lovely. Both families knew it was happening. So Queen Pleb officially didn't know it was happening, but she guessed it was going to happen at Disney. I asked afterwards, like, did you guess, like, it would happen here? And she was like, yes. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, her side knew, my side knew. None of the grandparents knew, though. So sending them messages and phoning them, they were really happy. So that was really lovely. But anyway, now I guess we'll get into the actual bulk of, you know, talking about Disney, because it's just really fun. What I'm also going to do is, if I can quickly on Google find a Disneyland Paris map, which I can, then we'll bring that up as well, because I think it'll be good to show. So here's the big map. So just to give you an idea, oh, let me bring this down though. So Disneyland Paris has 2 parks. It's got Studio and it's got Land. So in the top left, so over that way, that's Land. In the bottom left, where there's like all the blue, it looks like water in a way, that's Studio. And just here down to the right, that's the hotel. Now, if you see, there's the lake. So that is, you can see the lake over down on the right over here. So wait, hang on. If I literally try to make it dummy proof here, that right here, that's the hotel we stayed at. And I proposed on a bench about right here. Like literally about there is where I proposed on a bench. That is the Marvel Studio Hotel, and also the Marvel New York Hotel. That's the Bay Hotel, which was really nice. That here is the Disneyland Hotel, and then further out, so like up, I think over here, these are the cheaper hotels here. So you know, we stayed at one of like the main hotels, but it wasn't the most pricey or anything like that. So majority of our time, which I think is just normal, we spent in Disneyland, which is this park. It has more stuff, and we spent some time in Studio as well. But yeah, I've got a bunch of show photos that I can bring. Just to also say though, we went obviously in March. It's technically off season, off peak, just before the summer. So it's very common if you go to a Disney park or even a theme park, some roller coasters and some rides are actually closed permanently because they're refurbishing them, they're doing building or whatever they may be doing before the busy peak in summer. So for example, Crush's coaster was closed, unfortunately. Like we didn't go on it. But we went on pretty much everything else that we could. So what I'm first going to do, not that, is if I can, I'll bring up some of food things because people love food. So our first meal, which I don't have a photo of, or I didn't import it, was in a fast food restaurant in the park, and it was Coco, the Mexican themed restaurant. It's basically every single area in Disneyland. So it has Fantasyland, Adventureland, Frontierland, Discoveryland, I think. They all have a sit-down restaurant, like a nice posh one, and they also have a fast food restaurant too. You can still sit down in them, but it's just the different vibes. So our first meal when we arrived, we went basically straight to Frontierland, and we went straight to the fast food Coco restaurant. We both had a burrito with churros, and honestly, it was really, really good. But that's all we had, and that was a big day of travel, obviously, getting there. Then in the evening, we got back to the hotel, I want to say about 8 p.m., and we didn't have any food plans. We had nothing booked, and we were both a bit hungry, and we were like, let's just see on the app. Basically, everything's on the app. Like, where can we go? And where we opted to go was the Bay Hotel. So as I said on the map, so again, the map. So we were back in our room in... we were back in our room in this hotel, and we decided to go for dinner in that hotel over there. So very quick walk, 5-minute walk, and we booked a table. We were there in like 10 minutes time. Like we booked it and then left and went to go eat. Good, really nice vibe. We both have said if we were to go back there, we'd probably stay at that hotel instead. Our lodge one was nice, but there were a lot of kids. So I think the Bay one might not have had as many. So this was my like main meal that I had. So hilariously, and I did joke about it, fish and chips while in France as a Brit. It was good. The only weird thing about it, it wasn't normal fish and chips. So the fish over on the left, it wasn't batter, it was tempura. So it was a little bit odd. The mussel, I also had a mussel starter. They served the mussels cold, but that's just how they serve them. It was tasty. It was just a bit odd that it was cold. And it wasn't like, oh, they just left it on the side for ages. No, they just served the mussels cold. But overall, pretty good. Can't complain too much. It was overall a good meal. Some of my transfer photos did not work, so I don't have all the photos I wanted to bring over. I think one that people will... Oh, wait, did that even not work? I might have noticed that might not work. There you go. Sorry. So that's the fish and chips with it was tempura, not batter. This one, I think people will appreciate. My breakfast people, because breakfast is fantastic. Bam. So that was my typical breakfast that I had. So I would say the breakfast was really good. Massive breakfast buffet. You can see that obviously that's a Mickey Mouse waffle. So yeah, every morning I had bacon, egg, sausage, beans, and then like a couple waffles or something like that with juice and everything. It was really good. Honestly, the breakfast was, dare I say, near perfect. It was one of the best hotel breakfasts I've ever had. And I presume basically every hotel has a very similar breakfast. But what was quite funny to me, so when I normally go to hotels, so people are like, what the hell, if you're American or you're just not from the UK? Yeah, baked beans are a staple here in the UK for a breakfast, but I'm very aware they're not pretty much everywhere in the world. But the fact that our hotel literally had baked beans, it shows, and we definitely could tell, a major, probably the highest percentage of people that aren't French that go to Disneyland Paris were British. So that's probably why a lot of the hotel food were catered to British people, hence having baked beans. So I did find that quite funny. But yeah, let's get into actually some of the cool shots of the different things. So this was one of the best shots that I had of the castle. So I believe, so the benefit of staying in one of the hotels is you got to go in the park an hour early. So the park opens at 9:30, but if you stay at one of the Disneyland hotels, you actually get to go in at 8:30. And some of the rides are not open yet. Some of them open at 9, and weirdly, some of them open at 9:26. And if you're wondering, why would they open at 9:26? It's actually a technique that theme parks use. So because there's not many people staying in the hotels, we got to basically, what we decided every morning when there was nobody in the park, whatever main ride we wanted to do that normally has over an hour queue in the day, let's just go to that at like 9:20. So before the public can get in at 9:30, let's go to that ride, get in queue, and those rides open at 9:26. Why? So when the general public comes in at 9:30, they already can hear people screaming on rides. It creates the atmosphere of a theme park straight away. So they let us get on 4 minutes early. We can queue up before that, but the ride officially opens at 9:26. So actually quite smart, and obviously it's Disney, so they do it right when it comes to theme parks. Other than that, again, yeah, it's a shame that not all my pictures came over. What do we got? So we went into, and I can bring up a couple pictures here because again, it was mad. So this, which obviously looks kind of insane, and if I bring that one as well. So this was within the Disneyland hotel. So I showed earlier on the map, there's an actual hotel right as the entrance of the theme park. That one is the extortionately expensive, uber rich person like hotel. You can't just go in there. And for those who are like, why would you want to go in a hotel? So the thing is, this hotel obviously is mad. It's like a castle basically on the inside. But every hotel has what they call a boutique. So it's its own store. And each store has exclusive things to that store. So like the Marvel one had a couple Marvel items that you couldn't find anywhere else. Our one, the Lodge, had kind of Bambi stuff that you couldn't get anywhere else. This one had what's called the Royal line of clothing that you only can get there. So yeah, we went there. We got a jumper for my sister actually from here. That's what her request was of us going. So yeah, you had to book at 8:30 in the morning on a link that we booked it. We got the 9 a.m. slot one morning. So that's like the first thing we did anyway. So that was mad. And you can just tell, I would just say, when you're walking around that hotel, like everyone treats you nice, but none of the staff know if you're staying in the hotel or you're just popping in for the hour that you get. They treat you so nice because everyone in that hotel, if you're staying there, you are uber rich. Like, put it this way, the cost of staying here was triple the price of what we paid at the Lodge for the exact same amount of time. What? Like, it's just crazy. So as for rides, we went on pretty much everything. I do have a really funny shot. Like, there is part of my brain. So this actually just made me laugh, right? So it's probably not, but there was a thought in me, right? It's going to sound really weird. One of you plebs works at Disneyland Paris as Mickey Mouse. Because it looks like that Mickey is looking at me and going, oh my god. Like, there's a small part of my brain that's like, did he know me? Because, like, he is looking at me. Like, by the way, this is before the park opens. There were not many people around. So, like, there was, like, a group. Me and Queen Pleb were, like, here. There was, like, another group there and another group there. That was it. So they were looking at us for this photo. And him doing that just made me kind of go, why is he doing that? It's weird. But, like, it was funny. But, yeah. So, they, well, yeah, you can see, look at the time there. It's, on the clock above him, it's 9:07 in the morning. So, before the park opens. So there weren't many people in. So, yeah. It was weird. As for rides, so just to give you an idea, these photos aren't the best quality, some of them, because some of them are in motion. So there's this one. So this was in queue to Indiana Jones. This was the first ride we did. We did this ride a couple of times, and it was really good. So very fun. And what I actually learned, because I was just buzzing by being there and everything, in the last couple of days, I've actually watched a couple videos about Disneyland Paris, which is probably weird because I've just been there. So the thing about Disneyland Paris, and obviously I grew up going to the American one in Orlando a lot, Disneyland Paris actually has, I'm not going to say the best versions of all the rides, they have the fastest versions of all the rides. So this Indiana Jones is the fastest Indiana Jones. The Hyperspace Mountain is the fastest Hyperspace Mountain, the Paris one, because a lot of them are the most modern version. The Avengers ride is the fastest Avengers ride. So yeah, a lot of them are actually just faster than, and you know, the thing with these, it feels like you're going really quick. I think in this one you're going about 44 miles an hour at its peak or something like that. And, you know, maybe in the American one you go 42 miles an hour. So it's not a lot difference, but yeah, I did find that kind of interesting. So Indiana Jones is really good. We did Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, these photos, again, massive apologies for the quality of them. As you can see, it's bad. Basically, these rides are pretty dark, and also with an iPhone, they take really good pictures in the dark if you can hold still. We're on a moving boat, so you can't get good photos on a moving boat. So that was Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, another photo there. That there, you might be able to vaguely tell, is Jack Sparrow on the massive pile of gold from Black Pearl, the first movie. So there's that. Outside it, so again, I didn't take, you know, I was living the holiday and experiencing the holiday. So I wasn't taking photos of everything. So I didn't take a photo of the entrance of the rides pretty much ever. So, but that's nearby. You could, I think, go on that ship. You could definitely go on the beach down to the left, I think. Maybe the ship was under maintenance. But yeah, I think you can normally go on that ship. What else we got? So this ride, some of you, obviously us being gamers and everything, probably a lot of you are like, oh. So yeah, this one has a bit of a story to it. So this one is a Star Wars The Adventure Continues 3D. Now, we forgot, I obviously went on this ride in America as a kid a lot, but I can't remember a lot of it. I didn't know it was 3D. Queen Pleb didn't read the sign it was 3D. So as we literally about to get on the ride, they all go, oh, here's your 3D glasses. Now, that doesn't seem probably like a problem to most people. Now, the problem is, Queen Pleb, love my life, my fiancé, can't see in 3D. When she was a very young baby, one of her eyes wasn't working very well, so they actually had to like put her in an eye patch to get it to start getting stronger. But that left her in a way that her brain never kind of fully learnt how to see in 3D. But when you put 3D glasses on for her, obviously it forces her brain to see in 3D, but it's not used to it, so she actually becomes incredibly nauseous. So I was loving it. I was having a great time on the ride, you know, was paying attention to what was going on. Darth Vader kind of holding us and making us kind of go, whoa. And the ride finished, and I was like, oh, did you have fun? And she was like, no. And I was like, what? She's like, I had my eyes closed probably halfway through, and I feel very sick. I was like, oh. So we got outside very quickly, and I think we found a bench. But yeah, so that also means we didn't do some of the other rides that had 3D elements. So the Spider-Man one we didn't do. And there might have been another one, but yeah, it was still really good. I enjoyed it. Some people may say like my plan was going out there to build a lightsaber. Did I do that? No. So I think there is obviously some differences in America than Paris. Obviously, there was a Star Wars area in the park, but it wasn't like the American ones. There wasn't the big Millennium Falcon that you can go in. I think like it was a Star Wars section rather than a Star Wars land. And I think in the American ones, there's like this crazy amazing boutique that costs like $200 and you build your own lightsaber. I found two places you build your own lightsaber, one in the Star Wars area and one in Disney Village. It was like cheap plastic stuff. So it cost like 30 euros and you just chose like cheap plastic stuff to put on. And it looked okay, but I was like, eh. I'd rather eventually go to the American one and get one of the boutique-y build your own ones eventually. So I didn't end up doing that, but it was still fun. This ride, I absolutely, oh my God. Now, some people will like, what? This one. So I have so much nostalgia about this ride. It's a rubbish ride, for want of a better word. It's for 4-year-old kids getting behind a wheel for the first time ever. But that's the point. That's my nostalgia. So this ride, I can't remember what it's called. Well, hilariously, I remember it's sponsored or powered by Avis Car Rental. So it's literally stupid little go-karts that are terribly underpowered. There's only one pedal in the middle. And the steering doesn't really work, to be honest. And you're on a rail. Hello, puppies. I loved it. So this, to me, was a massive nostalgic thing because me and my sister growing up going to Disney, you know, one of us would be in a car with my dad, one would be in the car with my mum. We'd both go around and race. So for me, this was absolutely magical. I had a really, really good time in here. And yeah, it's not the most fun ride, but it hit me right here. And that was really special. And it was nice to share that with Queen Pleb, to be honest. We'll just share a couple more things, by the way. and then that'll be it. So this one, I'm gonna be honest, we went on the Buzz Lightyear ride. I did terribly in it. The reason I took a picture of that, anybody else, the artist or whatever, they drew him high as a kite. I was giggling my head off when I saw him. I was like, that guy is up in the clouds. Like, Jesus. He was having a good time. I think... So, again, you got Zerg. Oh, jeez, that's big. Again, excuse this video is a bit all over the place. I'm just having fun talking about it. So, yeah, Zerg. So that one is like, you know, an aiming target practice one. We both did bad. Queen Pleb, though, beat me, by the way. So she did beat me. I'm going to say my gun was broken. What else we got? Anything else? Oh, this, just because some people are like, did you see any characters? Yes. So this was one thing we saw. So if you're wondering, like, Goofy looks panicked. So you can see Pluto's over to the left, Eeyore's behind. Yeah, Goofy was actually walking towards me, then panicked because he wasn't supposed to go that way, and then ran towards Pluto. It was very funny in the moment. And then I don't know if you can see him at all anywhere. Behind Eeyore is Mickey, and Mickey was getting literally body blocked by a kid. I'm not even kidding. And like forced to take a photo with a kid. If I remember in editing, I'll put up like now. We did actually get photos with Mickey. I don't think I brung that over or it bugged. Yeah, so we were really lucky about that. So the queue to normally meet Mickey is over an hour. He's got his own building. At 5 p.m. or 5:30, one of the days when it closes, we wandered over to go, oh, what's this? And it was, oh, meet Mickey Mouse. And there was a woman, it said closed, but there was a woman at the door, and I was like, is it closed? And she was like, come on. And she literally let us in, and we were the last people of a day, 0 queue. There was nobody in queue. There was a couple that were already talking to Mickey in front of us. They left, and then it was us. What? It was like, that was crazy. Like, we literally, you know, otherwise, I don't think if we didn't do that, I don't think we would have, like, queued to go meet Mickey Mouse. We also, as a final bit, you know, and I'm sure I could talk about this for a bit longer, but I don't want to keep you guys on just waffle. Yes, I did bring the Huzzy plushie. So I did bring a Huzzy plushie. Because the risk was high. You can see this one is actually a misprint. If you look at his stripes here, this one actually has like a weird print to it. So I brought this one just in case I couldn't bring it back or something. I did manage to fit it back in the suitcase. But yeah, so I got the shot. I didn't do any more than that. You know, I did have a thought, you know, when I'm meeting Mickey Mouse, do I give him the plushie? But I didn't. But overall, really fun. Well, the only thing I didn't really show actually is, so we obviously, that is that studio. I don't think the picture of the front of the other park worked. So to be honest, with me talking about this, I don't want to re-record this. I might bring up more photos. I'll like send more photos over from my phone, and I'll try and just bring up a couple more photos while I'm talking. The final ride I'll talk about, genuinely another one that hit me right in the feels, and I'm sure a lot of people have been on this ride before though. It's a Small World. So if you don't know what It's a Small World is, it's the one that has the catchy "It's a small world after all." The idea of the ride, and it's always been like that, is to show we should put differences aside. It's a small world. We're all on the same planet. We should get along. And it basically goes through all different countries and different people, different races, and everyone gets along and everyone's having a good time. And I think especially like, you know, it's built for kids to kind of try and imprint that on them early. I think that's really cool. And that ride actually made me really, really emotional. I did get a video of that. So again, maybe now I'll play over some of that video. I've got to be careful though with copyright and stuff. So it will not be longer than 10 seconds. But yeah, that was really good. As a final thing, what I'll do is show you a couple things, I guess, that I got or bought. I don't have everything with me, so I'll bring me... Hello, I'm Big Air again. I bought 3 t-shirts. I don't have them with me right now, but I bought a Darth Vader t-shirt. I bought a Mufasa t-shirt. And I bought a Walt Disney Studios t-shirt. But then I also bought a couple other things. So this thing you'll actually see in videos in the next few days because I recorded earlier. This is Jiminy Cricket. And you feel like, why will we see him? So the thing with Jiminy Cricket, he comes, and some of you know what this is. So you put one thing here, and then you put him here. So these are shoulder buddies. So it's perfect, right? So what I've decided is, with Jiminy Cricket, obviously the background of this character is he helps you wish upon a star of something you want. I wish for good LP gains and good teammates. So especially with summer coming, sometimes it's a bit too hot to put the Teemo hat on when I'm tilted, or I want better stuff. He can be there, chilling, vibing. He's, you know, he looks great. He's going to be our good luck charm moving forward, okay? So if we're having a bad time and we need some good teammates, Jiminy's going to come out and he's going to help us get a good LP, right? And I just think that's really cool, and I think that actually it works quite well. So he's going to live up there. I did get a Donald Duck hat, so absolutely banger of a hat, by the way. So when you actually can wear this properly, the bill opens obviously a bit more. I think this is honestly such a good hat, because me and Donald, he is my boy. You can see he's really angry. This occasionally may be used also to show how I'm feeling when it comes to solo queue. The funny thing is I've actually got quite a big head. So if that's the maximum it can go, with a headset on, it still doesn't really fit. I mean, it kind of does, but that will not be comfortable. But I bought that. What else did I get? I got my backpack here. Oh, Queen Pleb's little shoulder buddy. She got Sebastian, the crab. Very important. I did get... So this was my park ticket. Obviously, I'm not going to show the other side because it has some information. But yeah, I bought... You don't actually have to have a lanyard or anything. And I didn't actually use the lanyard in the park. I just like holding it in one place. So I got a Grogu lanyard. And then this... The park ticket in here was your park tickets and your hotel key, and you get to keep it. They basically, when you check into the hotel, they just say there's no checkout, just leave. Like, literally just leave and you're fine. Which is weird, but kind of cool, so you don't have to wait, or like, you know, wait in line. I'm trying to find, where did I put them? Because obviously I showed some of this stuff to the Twitch stream earlier, so I might have put them away in a weird place. I don't know. There's basically the only final thing I was... Oh, hang on. Oh. These are Queen Pleb's ears. So there's different themed Mickey Mouse ears. These are the Ariel ears. My only advice, and I'll leave you with this, if you go to a Disney park, there's obviously a lot of things to buy. Don't buy things quickly. Because, basically, she bought those... She didn't buy them on the first day. She bought them on, like, day 2. Or day 3? No, day 2, I think. And then day 3 or something, or later the same day she bought ears, she found a nicer pair of ears for her, but she wasn't going to buy another pair of ears. And when you're on holiday, I know you probably should still. I a lot of the time go, oh, don't worry about a receipt. Like, you probably should. So, like, some people are like, oh, yeah, you could buy it and then return the other one if you have a receipt. But what I would say is just, I found them. Don't buy stuff quickly. Wait till you've basically seen every store and then buy. But then there's these, so some people will know what these are. So these are coins. I wonder if it'll focus. There you go. So you can see that's all about France and stuff, made in France, Paris, etc. So they have different themes. So one thing I will say, I did not realize... Oh, go on, lad. Go on, lad. You need to get me out of the camera. Go on. Focus up. Oh, focus up. What I'm trying to say is I did not realise how big Stitch is. Stitch is absolutely massive. There you go. So that's the Stitch one. You can kind of... There you go. There's Stitch. There's this one. They will focus eventually. Any moment. Any moment. The camera's like, what do I do? What do you want me to do? I want you to focus on the thing I'm pointing at the camera. Oh, that's upside down, but I'm not going to do it because you can kind of tell that's a Star Wars one. Maybe I'll do 2 at a time. And then you got these 2. Come on. Is it literally... Look at it's my Huzzy eye right in the middle. Oh. Come on. Sorry about this, everyone. This video is all over the place, but as I said, this video is more for me than it is for you. Oh my god, it's hello, it's me. These 2 are Mickey and Minnie. I can't be bothered to like go for it. And that one, honestly, as you guys know, I use the nickname obviously Huzz Lightyear occasionally because Buzz Lightyear was one of my favorite characters growing up. That one, I will try to show this one. It's a Buzz Lightyear one. Hell yeah. But that's gonna be it. So half an hour, just over, talking about Disney, talking about I got engaged. And for those that, you know, any questions, throw it in the comments if you want. But I know one I probably missed is like, oh, when are you actually going to get married? So we don't have a set date. But 2 years, roughly 2 years from now is when we're going to try to get married, which means, and we actually were speaking about it about an hour ago, and we were looking at rough locations already. Just as a fun thing to do, nothing serious. It actually means we're going to start having to plan in about 6 months' time. And that's insane. But especially when it comes to like location and stuff like that, locations get booked years ahead of time. So yeah, in about 6 months' time, we're actually going to really have to like look at locations, go visit a couple and get that booked in just so we know we have it. And that's kind of insane. But thanks for joining me on this journey, like genuinely. And all I'll say to people, if you made it to the end of the video, firstly, put a fruit in your comment and I'll know you made it to the end. But the thing I actually want to leave you on, I spoke about it earlier in a game, but I don't know if it's being uploaded. I think it is. And there was a guy in the comment section who was like, oh, I wish I eventually would get some of your luck. What I would say is just before I started dating Queen Pleb, so I've been dating her now over 3.5 years. 4 years ago, so not long before I started dating her, I was in a really bad place. Like, really, really bad. I never went into detail with you guys of, like, stuff. You know, where a lot of people will say, like, oh, Huzz, your YouTube channel back then was absolutely booming. And, like, you know, 2019 especially, like, or 2020, your sub numbers were insane. They were. Yeah, great. I was depressed, as you could, like, really badly depressed. I never left the house. I never did anything. I didn't live. I literally rolled out of bed and then started streaming. That was my life. It was not a life. It was awful. And I know a lot of people, even back then, were like, oh my god, it's amazing what you... And it is, to some things, it is amazing. But I was not happy. At all. And I decided to move out as, like, forcing myself. Some people may remember this. I forced myself to, like, I need to make a change. When I move out, it'll force myself to get out of the house more because I'll have to do my own shopping. I'll have to do this, I'll have to do that. So I forced myself to move out in, I want to say, June or something of 2020, and it went terribly. I forced myself in the time of a pandemic. You couldn't have really people visiting. I got a wrong house. Some of you remember I got a 3-story house that was, as a solo guy, it just wasn't, it was not nice. I never felt safe on the top floor. So I moved back, you know, after a few weeks. It was not good, and that unfortunately made me even worse than I was originally. I was really down for a while. I'm moving out. I got really hyped about it. I'm finally going to start living, and then it went awfully, and I went lower than I did originally because then I felt like a failure of having to move back home. And then I basically was like, oh, this is awful. So what I did is I got myself on a couple dating apps, and then within a couple of days I started talking to Queen Pleb, and the rest is history. Like, where some people may go, I wish I have your luck. It was from a really dark, bad time, and I did something about it. You know, I got myself back then in really good shape. You know, I lost a lot of weight. That's obviously going to help, especially on dating apps anyway. But I did something about it. I could have very easily just stayed in my bedroom, rolling out of bed, doing a 6-hour stream, rolling back in bed, doing that every day. That's what I did for years. I could still be doing that right now, but I stopped doing that. It wasn't luck that I stopped doing that. I stopped it. I started to live. And that's the thing is, you know, this channel I adore and I love being a content creator, but the priorities in my life have swapped a bit and they've changed a bit, and I've gotten older, and I'm personally becoming 30 in a few months' time. I'm engaged now. Kids, we were already speaking about it. You know, we're going to wait till we're married, but if it happens, it happens. But where before I would know life and, you know, and I still do 2 videos a day every day, and I would stream on weekends and all that. Some of you notice I don't stream as much on weekends anymore because that's Queen Pleb's time off and I want to spend time with her and Maya. It's hard to like maintain the grind of being a content creator when hilariously you actually start living a life. Being a full-time content creator is amazing when you don't actually live, you know, when you're just on the content grind. So it's where I love what I do and I wish things were going better, you know, views and everything. I wish it was better, but I can understand why people will prefer to watch the people that I used to be basically 4 years ago. They're the people that they're on the massive, insane grind of not living. That's where I was 4 years ago. I'm not there anymore. So, yeah. But it's nice in some ways. But anyway, that's going to be it. Crazy video, I know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, do let me know in the comments. And, yeah, hopefully this was an okay video. Just something a little bit extra. I needed a second video for today. So tomorrow is the last day of the content that I was pre-bulk recording. And then starting Wednesday will be fresh content that I actually recorded earlier today. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.